Arc Raiders understands something about modern life that most AAA games are too afraid to admit. Risk is unforgettable. Let me explain. Above you and around you, a sky claimed by merciless machines. You're shot up, bleeding out, no ammo left, one bandage wasted way too early, and your energy ticks down, slow, indifferent, as you crawl towards extraction. Arc units glide overhead, heavy walkers shift in the distance, and the shrieking sound of the elevator siren is piercing your ears. And somewhere out there, there's other raiders, maybe watching, maybe tracking the same extract, maybe waiting to steal your loot. And anything can still happen. And if you lived it, you know this is the longest stretch of the match. Not the looting, not the firefight with Arc. This, the waiting, the exposure, the knowledge that survival is still negotiable. The hatch whirs open, you slide into the elevator or the train, you slam the terminal, and for agonizing seconds, nothing. You're still vulnerable. You can still lose everything. And then, finally, returning to Speranza. The door seals, the descent begins, and the world, and most definitely you, exhale. If you're wondering what this even is, Arc Raiders is a PvE extraction shooter. That means player versus environment, and it's a genre where you drop into hostile maps, you scavenge resources, you fight, in this case, AI threats and other players, and then you try to extract back to safety. And if you die before you make it out, you lose everything you brought in. And that 10-second window between exposure and escape is more intense than most boss fights in any modern game. Because most games simulate control and power. They let you dominate, they let you conquer, they let you win. While Arc Raiders simulates something far more honest, vulnerability and uncertainty. And in 2026, that feels disturbingly real. So on paper, it's an extraction shooter. You've got machines from the sky, you scavenge, you survive. But emotionally, it's about living under a system that is bigger than us. Fragile communities beneath mechanical dominance. Scarcity that reshapes trust. Technology that doesn't hate us but quietly replaces us. Or maybe it is even simpler than that. Maybe it is about endurance. And if you haven't played it, you'd be forgiven for missing it, because from the outside it looks just like another extraction shooter in a fairly overcrowded market. But Arc Raiders is a masterpiece hiding in plain sight. This isn't a zombie apocalypse, because zombies are chaotic, they're emotional, and they're loud. The Arc machines don't rage, they loom, they operate. And there's something deeply modern about that. Think about drones, satellites, surveillance, AI systems that don't hate us, but they optimize around us. The machines feel less like villains and more like infrastructure. It's oppression without personality. And that's what makes it so unsettling. Because without giving much away about the story, humanity in this world didn't lose everything in one dramatic explosion. It lost slowly, systematically. And the sky, which traditionally is a symbol of hope, of transcendence, of divinity, is occupied here. And us humans, we live below, in bunkers, in these semi-lit tunnels in a place called Speranza. And that name isn't accidental, because Speranza means hope. And that inversion matters, because in most stories you ascend towards freedom. Here, to go upwards is to risk everything. The surface isn't liberation, it's exposure. And that feels culturally very resonant right now. And then there is the genre, which isn't an accidental choice, because extraction games are about what you're willing to carry, what you're willing to lose, deciding when to leave. You don't win in Arc Raiders, you temporarily survive it. And that's existential, because most games, they simulate power. Arc Raiders simulates risk. And risk simulates something much older in us. Our heart rate climbs, our perception narrows, and we move carefully. We try to survive. And only when the doors close does your body release the tension finally. And that's not spectacle. That's biology. That's stress, survival and discharge. And that loop hits very differently, especially when we're adults. Because extraction does mirror modern life, where we invest time in something uncertain. We take career risks, we move cities, we become parents, and we are carrying something valuable with us that we could drop. And loot isn't just progression, it's liability. And one mistake, one bad read, one greedy decision, and we could lose it all. And loss in Arc Raiders isn't arcade tension, it's actually adult tension. And here's where it gets important. None of this works if the systems are shallow. And Arc Raiders earns its philosophy through mechanics, because you scavenge circuitry, metal, fragments from a collapsed world, and everything you pick up increases your risk. You return to Speranza, you craft, you refine, you prepare for another ascent, and progression is restrained, it's horizontal, it's incremental. You never become unstoppable, you become slightly more prepared. And movement has weight, exposure has consequences, stamina isn't cosmetic, and every system reinforces vulnerability. And that cohesion is very rare in games, because if you compare it to something like Call of Duty's military dominance or Destiny's godlike guardians, these are power fantasies, but Arc Raiders feels much closer to something like The Last of Us or to Hunt Showdown. It's slow, it's careful, it's deliberate, and listening really matters, because sound design matters a lot more than explosions, atmosphere matters more than kill count. You don't feel unstoppable, ever. You feel small, but that is intentional. And there are three anxieties the game quietly builds around. Vulnerability, I'm small. Loss, I could lose everything. Surveillance, something is watching, evaluating, and operating above me. And the machines don't chase you with hatred in this one, they hover methodically. AI doesn't scream, it scales. And this is where you have to give credit to Embark Studios, because they didn't just build a shooter, they built mood. The world isn't the classic neon dystopia, it isn't exaggerated ruin porn. It's actually restrained. Sunlight across abandoned structures, wind through rugged terrain, mechanical silhouettes interrupting natural horizons. It's quiet, it's controlled, it's deliberate, and it's very beautiful. And the sound design is exceptional, because Arc Raiders is a listening game. Footsteps echoing in a closed urban environment. The soft crunch of sand, metal tensions adjusting overhead. Extraction mechanisms humming in the dark. The soundtrack is magnificent. It blends cyberpunk, post-synthwave, and industrial electronic textures with heavy bass lines, analog synths, and it's got this really moody atmosphere. It's composed by Patrick Andren and Johan Söderqvist, who did Battlefield. And you don't just play it, you inhabit it. And sound isn't immersion fluff here, it's survival information. Directional cues tell you if a machine is turning towards you and starts scanning, or if a player is reloading somewhere behind a wall, or if looting just turned into an ambush. And with proper spatial audio, the game transforms. Not because it sounds cool, which it does, but because it restores agency in a world designed to make you feel powerless. And that discipline, mechanics, the art direction, and sound reinforcing one emotional thesis is masterful craftsmanship. And in a game where awareness decides survival, your gear matters. But that's where something unexpectedly fitting enters the story. And speaking of loot, in a game where everything you carry increases your risk, I actually found one piece of gear that feels like a genuinely great drop. It is the Fifine H9. Now, you don't extract these from a bunker, but they integrate seamlessly with a game where sound isn't atmosphere, it's information. And with these headphones by Fifine, you hear machines before you see them. You hear raiders looting from distance or shifting behind a wall before the fight even begins. With the H9, positional audio is clear and very precise. Footsteps stay distinct, mechanical hums remain layered instead of blending into background noise. And in a game built around vulnerability and uncertainty, that clarity genuinely matters. Comfort-wise, I've worn these for long sessions, gaming, editing, late-night runs, handheld play, and they stay lightweight. They haven't got an aggressive clamp, no pressure fatigue. They disappear, which is exactly what you want. The microphone is clean and reliable for Discord or in-game comms.
What's up? You can hear me?
Nothing flashy, nothing exaggerated. They're functional. What makes them exceptionally interesting, though, is their value, because in a genre built around constant risk versus reward calculation, the H9 feels like high-value loot at very low buy-in. It doesn't try to be dramatic, it just works. And in Ark Raiders, hearing one extra footstep before someone hears you, that's not immersion, that's survival. And if you want to give them a go, I'm going to leave you a link down below. But let's get back to the game, because what makes Ark Raiders brilliant is that it builds tension in two directions. There is the vertical threat, machines above, and the horizontal threat, humans beside you.
What's up?
And if games like Dark Souls made us feel small against an indifferent world, or DayZ or DayZ made other humans unpredictable, Ark Raiders fuses both. You can collaborate, you can negotiate, but you never fully trust. And what makes this even more unsettling is that Ark Raiders allows communication. You can speak.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Thanks very much. Wow, that's cool.
Would you like it? I can give it to you.
You can signal peace. You can warn someone about a machine overhead. Or you can lie. And in most PvP games, interaction is reduced to gunfire. Here, it is negotiation. I've had players offer to share loot. I've had players say friendly and then mean it. And I've had players say friendly and then shoot me in the back. And that ambiguity changes everything. Because now the tension isn't just mechanical, it's moral. You're not just asking, can I win the fight? You're asking, can I trust this person? And in a world defined by scarcity, that question becomes dangerous. PvE becomes a social experiment. High stakes, scarce resources, permanent loss. In Ark Raiders, kindness can be expensive, and selfishness is efficient. Some players protect areas, they signal peace, and they become what the community jokingly calls swamp defenders, while others betray. They camp extraction, they optimize survival. And the game doesn't judge either path. It reveals what humans become under pressure.
Wow, that's cool.
Happy raiding to you.
Bye, guys. Perfect.
Have a good one.
Some call it a failed experiment in humanity, but I feel that misses the point. Because Ark Raiders doesn't prove humans are bad. It just shows that morality destabilizes under scarcity. And when loss is real, ethics become strategic. That's uncomfortable, but that's honest and probably very human. And it reflects something outside the screen. Economic uncertainty, technological disruption, AI questioning relevance, systems bigger than individuals. Under pressure, cooperation becomes harder, trust becomes calculated. And Ark Raiders doesn't preach, it simulates. And then, it hands you the controller. And if we look at the last 15 years of gaming, from military dominance to superhero spectacle, to saving the world, most of the time we were heroes. Now, it's post-collapse, extraction, small communities. We don't overthrow the sky, We slip underneath it and take what we can, return alive. And that's not heroic, that's modern. And there's something almost mythical, by the way, about the structure, because we have descent, preparation, ascent, exposure, extraction, and then descent again. And there is no final victory screen, just another run, another negotiation with risk, another question: how fast will you leave, and how much are you willing to carry? And Ark Raiders doesn't preach, it unsettled. It shows you a world where the sky no longer belongs to us, and yet, as humans, we still go up. Not to conquer, but to survive, to gather, to risk, to return. And that persistence might be the most human thing in a game. When I first saw Ark Raiders, I genuinely rolled my eyes because I thought another extraction shooter, another dystopian world. But the first time I stepped onto the surface without fully understanding the system, I felt something different. I felt confused, dependent, hyper-aware. Most games make you feel powerful. Ark Raiders makes you feel conscious. And that awareness is uncomfortable because it mirrors something real. We can't outgun the systems shaping modern life. We navigate them. Ark Raiders literalizes that. The sky is occupied. We live beneath what humans built. And every ascent is both hope and folly. So Ark Raiders doesn't feel like aggression, it feels like endurance. And that's exactly why it resonates now. Because hero fantasies are naive, conquest feels fictional, and survival feels honest. And managing to return to Speranza alive, that feels like something else entirely. Because Speranza means hope, and hope in Ark Raiders isn't a speech, it isn't a victory screen. It isn't saving the world. Hope is an elevator door closing in time, or a train pulling away, or a descent back underground with something that we need still in our hands. And hope is temporary. Hope is fragile. Hope is earned. You don't conquer the sky. You borrow some time beneath it. You gather what you can. You risk what you must. And if you make it back, hope survives one more day. That's why the game lingers. It doesn't promise you triumph. It promises you return, and sometimes returning alive is the most human victory there is. So welcome back to Speranza. Now, if you played Ark Raiders, I'm curious, what was your most tense extraction moment? Let me know down below, and if you haven't played it yet, well, it might be time to give it a go and feel what risk really feels like. By the way, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, let me know by hitting the thumbs up. If you have any questions or you want to know anything, just let me know down below because I always like your comments and I make sure that I answer all of them. Keep gaming, and I'm sure I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye bye.